Hello guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Jerry.
Jerry and I today are gonna respond to you guys.
That's right.
As we predicted, we would get a lot of dislikes on our Batman v Superman trailer reaction review of the second trailer.
Some very vocal comments.
Yeah, and we try to keep these videos at least under 15 minutes, mainly because of a copyright strike. You can imagine why we got one of those. We wanted to, go in a little bit more depth and explain a little things.
Yeah.
Because some people, I feel like, there are people who really got what we were saying.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who I'm like, you're really not getting what I'm saying. It's like, it's one thing if you're attacking me with directly about what I said. It's another thing where I'm like, well, no, you just don't understand what I'm saying, actually.
Yeah. In good faith, trying to bridge the gap. Because the truth of the matter is, like, this trailer didn't make me go, oh, fuck this movie now. I'm just a little less excited than I was before. And I mean, this isn't my favorite kind of cinema anyway. The first trailer, I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, yeah, I think I will check that out. And then this trailer, I was like, oh. It's not like, ugh. So.
But let's cover some specifics. I would like you to take care of this one. The destruction of the cities. You made a comment about that.
Yeah.
A lot of people make the comment about so many people died. And there's a counter argument of, well, he saved the world. So yeah, a few people had to die. And what's the other thing people are saying? That happens all the time in comic books.
Yeah, it happens all the time in comic book movies, which it does.
Yeah.
So here's my thing about that. It's just a detail that kind of takes away from it for me. It's not something I sit around all day going, ugh. It's like the first Man of Steel started to lose me in the second half because the action is so huge and there's so much of it, and these two invincible guys are fighting each other. They destroy so much of Metropolis, and so many people must have died in that fight. And the difference for me is that, you're watching Spider-Man. It seems like Spider-Man is trying to prevent people from dying while he's fighting. Both concerns are there.
Yeah. Some might argue, well, what about that moment with General Zod? Where he ended up snapping his neck. Superman was trying to save some people at that time.
He's fighting for the better cause, so, he is trying to save people. It's just, for some reason, maybe it's the performance, or maybe it's just the amount of destruction combined with the performance. I just never got the sense that Superman really cared that much about people.
Not that that shouldn't happen in movies. It's more about the feeling of the character feeling a little bit of, a little bad about what happened.
It's harder for me to be on board with Superman in that movie because I'm like, do you care? It's an interesting idea to think about if they want it to be that way, because this Superman is more emotionally repressed and stuff.
It's not about that the destruction of the city shouldn't be there. It's like, we all love shit like that. But we also like it when there's a little bit of the emotional context of, people are dying.
Yeah, it would be nice if Superman at least cared about, because then he's not, a hero if he doesn't care.
And I gotta say, the number one thing we're getting in the comments, when this destruction thing got brought up, everyone started being like, you know what? When people say this about DC, but here's how you guys probably feel about Marvel. And I'm like, what? We never mentioned once the word Marvel, or any Marvel-related characters.
If we have a nit to pick with a non-Marvel comic book movie, it doesn't mean that we just want to suck Marvel's dick all day. We love The Dark Knight, to varying degrees. We love Nolan's Batman trilogy. Those are technically DC's movies.
We even did a whole podcast called Haters Why We Love The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, and I will fully admit, I'm not a comic book expert. I'm coming toward this as, a movie fan more. I don't go apeshit for Marvel movies.
And they're acting like we fucking
a lot of
lose our
reviews,
shit.
It's like, you can have a tempered opinion about something. There are things I like about Marvel movies, and there are a lot of things that I don't like about Marvel movies, at least contextually.
Because I guess the main complaint is when that happens in a Marvel movie, no one seems to bitch.
I guess, yeah, there's more eyes on DC, I guess. It's the wrong juxtaposition, because everybody wants this to succeed so much, because DC is sort of struggling to figure this paradigm out. So it's not a nitpick against DC. It's just what I have to go on based on what they gave me.
The other big complaint that people have been saying is, well, of course they're gonna work together in the end. Haven't you heard of Justice League? It's in the synopsis. Okay, here's what I gotta say to that. All right?
We know it's
like
coming.
Yeah, I never said we don't. It's like, obviously it's going to happen. But here's the thing: we didn't know for sure if it's going to happen in this movie. The other thing is,
and even just to cover that base, it still would seem even very possible, even if it might not surely happen. It seems like a likelihood.
It's called Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
I want the focus to be about Batman versus Superman. I don't want to be sitting there going, oh, wait, now they're eventually going to get along. So this tension goes away because now I'm not so invested in them fighting each other because we know for sure they're going to resolve it. I think of Captain America, the Civil War trailer. Here's my point. If we saw Tony Stark and Steve Rogers getting along in the trailer after the war,
Yeah.
it's like, well, what's the fucking point of this? We know it's gonna happen. They're gonna team up for the third Avengers movie. If they showed it, it would fucking suck. And that's how I feel about this.
Well, because hear me out on this. It's like, you can't turn your movie's trailer into an advertisement for the next movie in that same trailer. Because the thing that bugs me about that decision is the trailer begins with Alfred or somebody being like, we might not be able to get through this, or this might be the end, some kind of grim phrase. And then by the end of the trailer goes, no, actually it's not. They're going to work together.
Yeah.
Even if it's a foregone conclusion, don't just give it to me in the trailer, because it's like we said in the video, it feels like you've seen the whole movie now. It's like, now the suspense of what they're going to do to each other isn't going to be that great, because it's not going to be enough to kill them or end their relationship.
The other thing that's people are so not understanding what I'm saying. I specifically said Wonder Woman's introduction. I don't know if that's her first scene in the movie. I know she was briefly featured in the other trailer. Yeah, for like a split second, I know. Yeah. But here's the thing. That was still, at the end of the day, her introduction to meeting Batman and Superman upon saving them from Doomsday.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big reveal.
Yeah.
To be like...
That's a crucial scene.
Yes, we know they're gonna meet. We totally just...
And that's gonna be a distinct moment for that character in the movie.
Yeah. And it's like, you just don't show that part. It's not about the ending. It's not about the end result. But if you give away too much of what the journey's like, then it kind of doesn't even matter,
Because you already know.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the thing about... I wonder if, because we had remarked too, it kind of gets jokey at that point. Maybe if I fully admit, if they had just given us a different Wonder Woman introductory scene, maybe I would have been like, oh. But from where I'm sitting right now, even from a marketing standpoint, I feel like it ruins some of the anticipation to show that, because that's going to be a moment we're going to be excited to see, and I feel like seeing it on a big screen in the actual movie experience is the most important place for that moment. It's like, people were already going to see this. Let's have that surprise. And that's what scares me about movies now, is we want more stuff ahead of time and we don't like to anticipate, and anticipation's the fun of it.
And when we say surprise, we don't mean we didn't know it was going to happen. I really don't want people to think that's what we're saying. People have this impression that because they showed something in the trailer and we're like bummed out that they showed it, that people think, oh my god, these guys are idiots. They didn't know that was going to happen.
When they announced
it's not about that.
The Wonder Woman news, we may have talked about it on one of these shows even. It's like, I was worried about that idea in and of itself, to be like, we got Batman versus Superman, that's crazy, and we're throwing in Wonder Woman. We had a whole discussion about how, like, I hope they handle that right.
And now there's Aquaman.
It seems like they're rushing.
Yeah, we haven't seen Aquaman yet, I know that, and there's other characters we haven't seen yet.
So good, there's still some surprises.
But it's like, and they shouldn't have shown Doomsday. I really don't think they should have showed him.
I think they can get away with it.
No, that's, for me, that takes away from the Batman v Superman part. I want that to be the main focus. I don't care if they start getting along in the end. I want that to be the main... That's the most interesting part of this story, is these two going toe-to-toe.
I agree with what you're saying, but I think that piggybacks. It's like, I think you can show Doomsday, you just can't show them fighting him together.
Because Doomsday is one of Superman's ultimate villains.
Yeah.
We got Batman v Superman. Now there's already the distraction of Wonder Woman's in here. Now there's already the other thing of Aquaman's in here. Okay, now we got one of Superman's biggest villains in here. And we're introducing Lex Luthor. It's too much.
And then it goes, you better stick this landing, otherwise it's going to seem like you rushed all this to get to Justice League to fight the Avengers,
They can probably pull off him being in the movie.
Yeah.
But the trailer, I felt like they should have, like, Godzilla'd it a little bit.
Well, just as an aesthetic thing, like, if they had only showed Doomsday, like, in parts or obscured by things, so that you're more just seeing the power of Doomsday, like, so you don't quite know what he looks like or what he's going to be capable of. Like, that could still be cool in a trailer to drive up the mystery. But to just show him turn around and blow something up is like, oh.
I don't have the biggest issue with that. I just still feel like they shouldn't, like, oh my god. It goes back to that whole thing I hate of people saying, like, oh, because it's there, it's like, yes, I know that's going to be in... Okay, the Star Wars trailers for the new one. They haven't shown Luke Skywalker once yet. They haven't shown Luke. Now, is Luke gonna be in the film? We all fucking know that, but we don't want them to show us Luke yet.
And just having the question of like, wait, where's Luke? Are we gonna see Luke? Did something happen to Luke? Is Luke not coming back? That will bring people into the theater, and it gives us something fun to speculate about beforehand.
Yeah.
It's what you're choosing, it's the image you're choosing to leave us with. If you want the image you're trying to sell us Batman versus Superman with, if you want that image to be, they're gonna get along at the end.
Don't call it Batman v Superman, call it Batman and Superman.
Advertise that part of it, because, hey, maybe Batman versus Superman doesn't pick a side or a conclusion.
No, what it should do is do what a good prequel does, which is when that fight's happening, when they're going toe-to-toe with each other, to really feel like one of them's going to lose.
Yeah.
One of them might die.
Emphasize that fight.
Yeah, it's like, even though we know, it's like a good prequel, It's like sometimes we know what's going to happen.
Many comic book movies follow similar structures. It's like, we all know these are giant franchises that are going to continue. They're probably gonna make it through and bond together. Every 5th movie, they'll kill somebody whose contract is up, but really, we all know these are gonna be made to continue forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're not being naive. It's just it would be nice if the trailer focused on Batman versus Superman and not go, but it's alright. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
The idea is it should still have us be in the theater. I feel like someone's gonna die right now. I feel like someone might actually die.
What's the outcome?
It's like, even though you should still be in the theater going, one of them's gonna,
It should bring you in with that question.
Yeah,
that's the title. It's the point.
It's the whole point. Yeah, give it away.
If you're pitching somebody your movie and you end the pitch with, but it doesn't really matter though, because the next movie, it takes away from it. That's all. I want to enjoy this movie because this is the one I'm going to see in a few months.
Yeah, I want to see the main focus of these two not getting along. I don't care for a tease to Justice League.
And that's the thing is, the first 2/3 of this trailer, I was pretty psyched about. I was like,
So
the action looks cool. Clark and Bruce look like they got some cool tension going on. Lex Luthor's really colorful. This is all pretty cool. There's still cool shit about this trailer. It does some things, it seems to do some things right, or it could do some things right. It inspires that confidence about certain things. And it just raises questions about others.
I have to say, what I said about Ben Affleck, I saw the trailer again. I actually think Ben Affleck's doing a much better job than the first time I saw
I thought he was doing it.
Now that I was able to just sit back and accept it, I was like, nah, man, he's fucking Bruce Wayne. He's Bruce Wayne. My opinion on that has changed. And the other thing the last thing that people pointed out was, I was asking about Batman's voice for time because of the 15-minute rule. I had to cut out the part where we reestablished that's a voice modulator, and that I was kind of being more specific, thinking he was not just a voice modulator, but that he was also doing a voice as well.
Yeah.
Because it kind of sounded like that, and that was a question I had, not
a
statement about it. In all honesty, I'm still going to be there opening night, first show. I'm still going to be psyched to see it. It's more about the aggression towards the marketing at the end of the day than it is the film itself. We cannot judge the film itself.
Exactly.
Because it's just a trailer. It's more towards the marketing of the trailer.
Yeah, it's what builds the anticipation and what makes you want to go see it. And it's the movie could end up totally different, and I would love that.
I would love that too, yeah.
I would love to be blown away by this movie. The movie could find really creative ways of making me think one of them's gonna die, even though I know they're not gonna die, and I could get lost in that, but you never know.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's called Batman v Superman. This particular chapter is not about going, how do Batman and Superman team up? Yeah. This is about Batman versus Superman, and it's well, if we know they're going to team up, then my argument to you would be, what the fuck is the point of making this then? Just make Justice League.
Yeah.
If you think this is all, pointless to be upset about.
It's it's like a prequel before the main movie has come out almost. The movie might not entirely be necessary, and that's not a good thing to do. You got to treat every movie like it's necessary, and to go at the end, hey, that thing that's in the title, don't worry about that. That makes it seem like this movie is just a perfunctory, we gotta make this one.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, listen. If you still like us, click this button to subscribe.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how this came out.
Reasons to Jer Bear, Dank Ass Stubs, hosted by said Jer Bear, on this channel. Follow us on our social networks. Oh, follow me on YouNow, TheReelRejects, YouNow. Follow me. It's an app. It's kind of like Periscope in a way. On Sunday, got a very special live stream I'm gonna do. You're gonna want to follow me on that. I trust me. I don't want to give it away, but you're gonna want to tune in for sure.